What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 6 of our Liverpool FC playthrough here in Football Manager 2018. And while we are back once more, and today it's a massive game for us. We are going to be taking on Chelsea. If you missed last episode, go check it out as always. And yeah, since you were last here, they've improved a little. Of course, last episode we were royally humbled by Manchester City. Since then, 3 games, 3 wins, no clean sheets. A little bit of a concern because that was something that was becoming a strength of ours, but nevertheless, good to just, continue to register wins on the board. Anyway, looking at it here, you can see the first game that we had was against Crystal Palace. It was a 3-2 win. Roberto Firmino with a hat-trick. Andros Townsend with the pick of the goals. It was a pretty action-packed game, and in fact, Palace dominated the game in terms of clear-cut chances, but we took a lot of half chances. Actually, our second and third goals were incredibly similar. It was really odd, actually, when they both flew in, because for some reason I thought the game had somehow bugged out and shown the same goal twice. But one was a header, one was a volley. And yeah, good to get a win against Crystal Palace, who are, of course, in real life, one of Liverpool's bogey teams. Anyway, following on from that, we took on Legia, and in this game, we were fortunate, really. We went a goal down, and at half-time, despite being the better team, there was cause for concern. I got very shouty at half-time, and, well, we came good in the end. I mean, with this game, I did rotate the team very significantly. We were playing players like Andrew Robertson at left-back. We had players like Grujic, Wijnaldum started in the midfield. Woodburn was actually playing in midfield. Our front three was not the likes of Mane, Firmino, and Salah. I instead went with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Dolberg and Sturridge. It almost cost us, but in the end, our players showed their quality. And, even our second string players should be capable of winning this kind of game, and they were in this instance. Anyway, the most recent game we had was against Leicester. A 2-1 win. 2-1 perhaps flatters Leicester a little bit. It was a very, very comfortable game. It should have been 2-0. It should have been game over. Slimani with a late goal in the 96th minute to give, I guess, Leicester a consolation. Good to see Firmino getting on the score sheet again. 6 goals in his last 3 games. He really is a player in form. Got man of the match in this game as well. And, of course, good to just get the win in the league. Anyway, speaking of the league, just looking at the league table here, you can see right now we find ourselves top of the league once more, but it is very tight behind us. Arsenal on 23, United on 22, City on 21, Chelsea actually on 19 points today, so we are not at threat of being leapfrogged by them even if they win. But nevertheless, they are a team that we have to take very seriously. They've only lost 2 of their opening 11 games. They've drawn a fair few. You can see here in terms of goal scorers, Slimani is leading the way with 9 goals so far this season. Firmino has 7. Morata for Chelsea has 7. And you can see here Eden Hazard, a real top performer, 7.68 average rating for him so far this season, and actually Courtois with clean sheets as well. So this is not going to be an easy game. In terms of what's been going on off the pitch, I have been tinkering with the tactics a little bit. Of course, initially this system started off playing fairly narrow, but it's not really been working for us. I feel like we've been a little bit crowded in the middle, a little bit congested, so I have in recent games switched our width now to balance. Honestly, it doesn't feel like it's changed a whole lot yet, but it's something that we're going to keep an eye on. And one screen that I feel like people might not find, but I definitely think is worth looking at, is Analysis Match. And here you can basically review specific games at the click of a button to see what the issues were. So, I was able to look at the Man City game and see where things went wrong for us. The long shots, the fact that we had one shot in the penalty area all game. It's really useful, this screen, and yeah, you can filter specific games just to look at the general feedback. In fact, all of these screens here are kind of underappreciated, I feel like. Being able to look at your tactic stats, perhaps not the most useful of all of these, but certainly this match analysis screen, I think, is one of those screens which I'm going to find myself going to again and again. And you can see here there is a tab to go to individual match analysis as well, which is kind of nice, and you can choose just any game that you were involved in to really try and break down, where did it go wrong at the click of a button. And of course, this was all accessible before, but I feel like this format just makes it a little bit more accessible, particularly the recent matches stuff. I absolutely love kind of the paraphrased analysis stuff in FM18 this year. Okay, other than that, a little bit of other news. We had some players kicking up a fuss about wanting to leave. Yes, I was not happy either. Now, the first of these players was Matip, who came to me, and he's actually out injured for today's game, unfortunately, but he came to me and he complained that he wanted to go to, I think it was Barcelona. I told him that the grass is not always greener on the other side, and he went, "You're right, the atmosphere here is good, I don't want to leave." The next player who decided to come to talk to me about the fact he wanted to leave was Moreno. because he was wanted by PSG. And I told him, what did I tell him? It was a lie, but whatever the lie was, it made him want to stay. So it was a good lie. I think it's to do with the fact that why would you want to leave here? And the last player that we had actually come to us was Coutinho. And you'll never guess who wanted him. It was, of course, Barcelona. I told him that he's a very influential player and that he'd be a big miss. And he loved it too. So far on the player interaction front, free for free. I have no doubt it's not going to last for long. Milner is now transfer listed as well. He's been kicking up a fuss about wanting to leave. No bids yet. I think actually I may have mentioned that last episode. Besides that, a few players coming back to fitness. Lallana actually got a new injury, so that's always good, out with a calf strain. I'm looking at Lallana now at age 29, wondering if with his injury proneness it might be worth trying to cash in on him whilst I can. Obviously the issue I'm going to have is he's not played that many games yet. If we look at his injury history, obviously calf strain at the moment, had a bruised ankle before that. If we look here, he tore his thigh muscle, which was the initial injury at the start of the year. Really, he's just struggling to find some fitness, and I love Lallana as a player in real life. In Football Manager, I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of him. I like him as a creative player, but I feel like when you've got Coutinho in your side, you've kind of got two very similar players, and Coutinho's athleticism and obviously the age being on his side kind of makes him a more appealing option. Additionally, Lallana is worth £50 million. Whether or not we'd actually get that remains to be seen, but he is a player who so far this season we've dealt without due to all these injuries, so I wouldn't feel too, torn on letting him go. You can see Klein here still coming back to full fitness. He's not actually registered for the Premier League, which is perhaps a blunder on my behalf. I think the reason I didn't register him is because I didn't think he was going to be fit in time. I don't think we can register him either in time for the next game, so it may be a case of waiting until January for him. But yeah, he's had a long, lengthy kind of recovery process from this injury that he's been having. Obviously, it was an injury that he had when we first came. It's a damaged spine. I'll probably let him just play in the under-23s, build up a little bit of match fitness. You can see right now his match fitness is at 35%. Not entirely ideal. Besides that, though, not a whole load of injuries, really. Matip is unfortunately missing for today's game, but he's going to be returning to fitness immediately. I could maybe chance him thinking about it. In terms of fitness tests, where is he? Matip, capable of playing for the full game without any complications. It's tempting, isn't it? Looking here at the medical centre, I feel like this is one of those screens which people perhaps don't use enough. We have here the players who are risking injury. Lovren is a risk, so I could choose to maybe drop Lovren. Obviously, a fair few players here have played a lot of games. A few players with medium risks of injuries, but nothing to be too concerned about, I don't think. Obviously, all these low-risk injuries, it's to do with the training, but also in these higher-risk ones, it's just due to the volume of games we've been playing. But you'd have to say, like in the case of a lot of these, obviously, they've got full match sharpness, and they're also, they have pretty good condition. For this game, actually, we're not going to be playing Sarri anyway. In terms of the lineup going into this Chelsea game, you can see here, it's fairly standard with the exception of Matip, who, I'm tempted to start now, if I'm honest, because Grujic is not going to be fit enough anyway. Do I want to risk him? It's tempting, isn't it? Lovren was a high-risk player as well for an injury. Higher risk than Matip, which kind of makes me want to swap the two around. I think we're going to YOLO it. If Matip now gets injured, I will look at this point in this episode as a mistake. But yeah, besides him, Moreno, De Vrij, Matip, Gomez, the kind of midfield trio for Coutinho, Henderson, and of course Emre Can, as I mentioned, kind of coming in as an alternative to Sarri there. The front three, all good. As I mentioned, Firmino, a player in form. He has just been absolutely insane as of late. Hoping for more of the same from him here. We'll see how he gets on. I was hoping if I clicked here that we'd be able to see his goals and stuff scored in recent games, as you could in the previous Football Manager. But at least there, it doesn't seem like it works. And now I can't remember what I put in this box. We'll put in... We've already got happiness. Which one is it? Is it training? It's training, right? Yeah, panic over. Right, we are sorted. Let's get into today's game. We're taking on Chelsea. I don't have too many fears about their team in terms of, individuals. They're a very kind of collectively strong side. They are playing this free at the back system, which I've heard from a few different people is working very well in FM this year. Willian in centre mid is kind of interesting. The front three could be difficult to break down. We'll have to see how that works out for us. Part of me is wondering if it'd be worth putting Henderson on support here. And maybe switching the complete wing-backs just to regular wing-backs. Let's tell the players that we've been on a good run lately to go out there and impress me. Tactically, do I want to change anything here, knowing how they're going to play now? I think we'll go with wing-backs on support. I don't want us to play quite as riskily, but because they are playing without a kind of centre attacking mid, I think we'll play Henderson on support and see how that goes for us. But anyway, team talk done. We can get into this, going into the tunnel. Courtois on a fairly lengthy run without conceding. I'm confident we can find a way through. I'm going to back the boys. How much do you look forward to taking on your rivals? It's always tremendous. I don't care about Mauricio Pellegrino. I've got to be honest. I'm sorry, mate. I hope Southampton stick with him, I guess. We'll just, give a generic answer. Let's see how we get on going into today's game. We are away from home. Not going to be an easy game by any means here against Chelsea. Obviously, off the back of that Man City result and with 3 wins in our last 3 games, it'd be nice to kind of set the record straight, show that we are a threat for the title. I feel like that result against Man City perhaps is indicative of the fact that, in fact, we're not a team quite ready to challenge for the title just yet. But we'll see how we get on. You can see match fitness-wise, we are looking pretty sharp, as are Chelsea for the most part. Perhaps a few of their players in the final third struggling a little. You can see Pedro does have an injury, but like Matip, they've decided to chance him. 2 players who, despite their injuries, are kind of returning to fitness immediately. Anyway, early on in this game, not a whole lot of chances, more so going Chelsea's way. Just looking at the analysis here, apparently we've been giving away the ball too much. Have we now? Excellent. I mean, what does this show me? I feel like there should be lines showing where the passes have gone. I mean, it's not that useful, is it? The average pass map and stuff. I was hoping for something a little bit more useful. Do I want to change it? I don't think I do want to change it. If I was going to change anything, I'd tell the players to do shorter passing. But part of me is wondering if it'd be better to go more direct, which might seem a little mad. But I do wonder if Chelsea are going to play very kind of attacking today, and we're going to be looking to try and hit them on the break directly. So, yeah, my assistant has told me we need to hold on to the ball more. I'm just ignoring him. Sorry, mate. I don't buy it. I am wondering, though, if it might be worth switching system ourselves, because this right now is looking a little bit one-sided. But the question is, how do you counter the Chelsea system that they're playing? It's a really, really unusual formation in Football Manager terms. Certainly not a formation that was widely seen last year in FM, of course. It's how Chelsea play in real life. It is a very much their system. How would you try and contain that? Salah wants to come off with a pulled groin. This might be the excuse that I need to change stuff up tactically. We could go to the 3-5-2. We could realistically do that. It wouldn't be the most mad thing that we've ever done. Moreno might have a little bit of a trouble slipping in. But we could go for something like this and then bring in Seri at box-to-box. Do I really want to try the untested 3-1-4-1-1 in this game? I do. I think it might actually work as well. I feel like we're getting overrun in midfield. This is going to help us in that regard. They're playing kind of their striker and then the 2 wide men. I'm hoping that our wider centre-backs are going to be able to mark them okay. There is an argument to suggest that I could put Moreno and Mane to defensive winger, perhaps. In terms of the rest of this system, we're going to have to play more direct. This system is based around a Danish system. I think I mentioned that a number of times. In reality, it's one of those things that I'd like to try on a rainy day. If there's a game that doesn't have a whole lot going on, or if we were bossing the league and, I wanted to challenge myself a little bit to try and get a system like this working. But I think we're going to try and hit them on the counter with this kind of system. We'll see how we get on. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. A venture into the unknown. But given how the game's played out so far, our current system really just hasn't been working for us. So why not try something kind of left field? Why not? It's got to be worth a go, right? Anyway, looks like we're going to go into half-time all square, so it's not been a complete failure immediately. So that's something, right? They're still persisting with their wider system, which is kind of interesting to see. Looking at the analysis here, apparently we don't have enough men assigned to stay back when we have a corner. I guess this is on attack. Why is everyone set to go forward? Interesting. Oh, I know why. It's because my corner setup has my right back and left back staying back. But I don't have a right back or left back, do I? Right. That's kind of funny, to be fair. In fact, it's not kind of funny. It's very funny. I mean, I'm glad that we've realised now, because that would have definitely come back to bite us. I do think with Football Manager this year, the set-piece defaults aren't that great in terms of if you're someone who doesn't like to venture into the custom tactic stuff, which I'll be honest, in terms of set-pieces, it's been something I've never ventured that much into in FM. The defaults are really bad for you if you don't venture into them. I know on corners, it's just kind of everyone stands at the edge of the box. A draw here wouldn't be the worst result. I think that's one thing worth considering, but yeah, I'd like to see a better performance in this second half from us. I feel like if that kind of default set piece stuff, it's something I've not talked about, but like in my save here, I have changed off the defaults. Unfortunately, it seems like we're changing the tactics from my kind of initial system. It's changed it all back to the defaults, and the defaults involve the left back and right back staying back, and without them, we're in trouble. Anyway, Henderson's got an injury. That is a bad injury to get. We're going to have to bring in Wijnaldum to replace him. I'll probably switch Emre Can to play the Regista. We'll then switch Seri to play Mazzala and Wijnaldum to play the box-to-box midfielder. You'd have to say it's not been the greatest game for us so far. 2 changes that have been forced upon us. Salah with a minor injury. Henderson, hopefully that's nothing too serious. It's a foot injury, which is a little less than ideal. But, well, we'll see how we get on going into this game. I mean, there's 25 minutes left. In some ways, I'd be kind of happy to settle for a draw at this point. 20 minutes left in this game. Looking at the analysis, what's new? Mane's suffered excellent. He's going to have to play with the bruised jaw, I'm afraid to say. I'm not going to change the system for a bruised jaw. 15 minutes left in this game. It's been actually a pretty even game with not a whole lot of chances. Let's see if we can hold on to the death here as Chelsea with... Oh my gosh, Drinkwater's just scored a screamer. Drinkwater has just scored a screamer. And now suddenly we kind of have to go on the front foot. We have to go on the attack, don't we? Not ideal. I'll level with you. Was hoping this wouldn't happen. We'll go to our kind of system like that we have here. See how we get on. We've got to go on the attack. We've got to play a higher tempo though and go more direct. I feel like I have my tactical presets, but they're not really set up as presets for plan Bs and plan Cs in terms of changes of style. Rather, they're just completely different tactics that would be quite nice to have the team knowing to play. But yeah, we're going to have to change things up here. We've got to go on the front foot, go with a more direct style of play. We're going to hope that Firmino can do the business. We have still got 1 sub in us. Is there a player that I'd bring in for this kind of situation? I mean, maybe Dolberg is the man to bring in. We could drop Firmino deeper for Coutinho and take off Coutinho. It's a big shout. I think we actually will bring in Danny Sturridge for this game. He's back in the side, of course, had a little kind of injury. Nothing too serious, thankfully. But he is still on the road to recovery, so it wasn't really match fit to start today. But, well, we've got bigger fish to fry. Pedro coming forward. Mignolet, what a stop that is. Raises his left hand to it. Denies the opportunity. And, well, you can see in this game we're yet to have any clear-cut chances either way. Chelsea, they've had more shots, certainly. But, yeah, there's not been a whole host of chances in this game. And, well, they've got the ball again here. This game opening up as both teams kind of tire as we kind of desperately go for the lead. And, well, Morata here, clean through, one of the top goal scorers. Mignolet comes good for us. The first clear-cut chance of the match. It's taken 85 minutes. But Mignolet, he's made a nice little stop there, all things considering. Jordi Alba to whipping the ball here. Is that a free kick? For a second I thought he was going to give a penalty and I was about to lose it. But no, it is a free kick our way, thankfully. Both teams have players tiring. It's the 88th minute. Jordi Alba, I feel like he always goes to Chelsea on every single save I've seen in the beta. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case for every game. But anyway, Sturridge bringing the ball forward here against his former club, on off the bench. All on his own, hits it. Unfortunately, he couldn't even find the target. I thought for a second Courtois maybe got a hand to it, but he didn't. 6 minutes still left in this game with all the injuries we've had. Time has been added on. There's going to be another chance. After a very bland first 80 minutes, it's sprung to life here. Drinkwater scream of the difference. Pedro through here, hits the woodwork. Can we clear it away? We can finally. Mignolet, another great stop there, to be fair to him. Pedro not going to be in a rush, I don't think, to take this corner. 4 minutes left in the game. I think it's going to be ambitious for us to expect to get anything from this game, but we've been fairly competitive, all things considering, away from home against Chelsea, obviously. Former champions. Not going to be easy. I don't want to write off our luck just yet. There's still there's still a minute left. There's not a minute left anymore. It probably is game over right there. The cross is going to amount to nothing. It's a hard-fought game here at Stamford Bridge. We never really looked in the game. We never looked like taking a lead. Perhaps it's a little unfortunate that a screamer has won the game for Chelsea. You know, it wasn't like it was a piece of brilliant team play. It was an individual moment of brilliance. And unfortunately, we couldn't react accordingly to it, although we did, create and, I guess, concede a few more chances in our quest to hunt down that game a little bit more. Henderson's injury, it's only another minor injury, but it's not the first injury he's had this season for us. In terms of games coming up, just to kind of recap here, you can see we have Juventus in our next game. I'm not going to do that game, just because obviously we've only just done this match. And also looking at the league here, you can see the way things are lining up at the moment. We should make it out of our Champions League group stage. A draw would be enough at home against Juventus. I think it's at home. It is at home, isn't it? Yeah, because we beat Juventus away. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do, guys, is next episode we're going to come back, and I think we're going to do either the the Arsenal or Spurs game. Spurs are down in 10th, so I think we'll do the Arsenal game next. That is followed by the Atletico game. If that game is of significance, if we are going into that Atletico kind of game with our kind of fate still in the balance, I will live-com that as well as a double header. And yeah, well, hopefully you guys are looking forward to it. If you did enjoy today's video, please do leave a like. A tough result to take. A 1-0 defeat against Chelsea. I feel like we battled fairly hard. The Henderson injury hit us kind of where it hurt. Stylistically, honestly, never really had to play against that system Chelsea have before in Football Manager. It's going to be something that I have to think over a little. I'd be interested to know if you've been playing against Chelsea in your own saves. How have you been lining up against them tactically? I think they're going to be a pretty tricky team to break down this year with that system. But yeah, that's all from me, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy. Leave a like if you did. If you're new here, subscribe. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.